Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Grave Matters. I'm CreepyClownGirl. Alongside of me is Filia Noctis. Hi, sis.
Hi, sis. Hello, my necrophiliacs.
Hello,
Tonight,
everyone.
tonight we have an extra special, wonderful, stupendous guest with us, the ever lovely Madam Raven.
Hello, madam.
Welcome, Madam.
Oh, thank you.
So we usually ask you, for those who do not know you, which I just cannot believe that are people that don't know you, we usually ask you to tell us a little bit about your channel.
Okay. This October will be my 5th year having my
Wow.
channel. So, I do mostly stories, narrations. I do some other things. I do things on skinwalkers, authentic skinwalker stories. You know, I get them, not the fiction, but the true. I do those. I do theories on the 411 missing phenomenon, and mostly I just do narrations because, to be honest, I haven't had much time to put the others together, and I need to do a few others of those. But yeah, I've done a year and a half of the How to Survive Camping series, and I have almost 6 months left in it. So,
Wow.
yeah, but I see the end. It's written, so yeah, I know where it's going now. So that's fun. But yeah,
How did you get your name?
my first video was about dark fairy tales, dark nursery rhymes. And so I kind of played on the Mother Goose and went with Mother Raven, and then I thought it sounded too dowdy, so I changed it to Madame Raven. So,
Oh, it's an awesome name.
yeah, thanks. I think I was the only Raven at the time. There's many more of them now. So
There's an entire flock. Well,
there
no, that's
is.
not what you call. That's not what you call a. It is a flock of ravens.
Oh,
It's
I
a
know
murder
it.
of crows.
It's a
Is it
murder
a
of
congress?
crows.
It's a congress.
Congress is monkeys, I think. Let me think here. Check it real quick.
Somebody in the chat,
Conspiracy?
look that up. Is it? It might be a conspiracy.
It's an unkindness.
Oh,
An unkindness of ravens.
okay. So we have an entire unkindness of ravens now.
We do. We do.
But that's not in the horror community. Unkindness. Now, see, Patience says conspiracy.
Oh, okay. I like conspiracy better.
I say
I like conspiracy
better too.
Yeah.
Because we're not unkind in our community. A didgeridoo of ravens. That's funny. We're not unkind.
No, we have a great community. It's awesome.
We do.
Well, shall we say hello to
ravens.
There is.
Yes.
Hello,
yes,
Chrono.
I know where you're going. Hello, Chrono, and hello, Derringer.
Hello, PA.
Hello, PA. And Patience. Patience is the wife of the other Raven that is with us tonight, who would be as the Raven Dreams, who is the man behind the yellow banner.
Woohoo!
Hi, Chris.
And my Chris is here tonight. She's my Chris, which is just a whole nother story. Because that sounds really weird, but that's my Chris.
Okay. Chronopasta says either way it's premeditated. So yeah,
Yes.
we are a conniving bunch.
Well, next week we have As the Raven Dreams, and the following week we have Curious Raven. So
There
Yes.
you go.
We have a month of ravens.
There's more in the community, more corvids. Also, we have Gathering of Crows. I hope he's doing okay. He had surgery and chemo
Oh, I
lately.
wasn't worried about
it.
Oh dear.
And yeah, and Magpie Stories. So we've got more corvids too, if you want to add them in. No blue jays.
Blue jays. Blue jays. I've seen blue jays. They can be mean. They can be as mean as magpies.
magpies are
it.
mean.
Yeah. But yeah, corvids are generally very, very smart birds.
They are.
All we need now is a flock of seagulls. Oh no, we don't need them anymore. We had them in the 80s, and yeah.
There's not enough hairspray for a flock of seagulls. Let's be honest.
No, we finally got the ozone layer fixed. That hole over Antarctica has finally been fixed. We don't need them back.
So, Madam Raven, since creating your YouTube channel to where you are now, where do you see your channel going, and what do you want to see for it?
That's something I have been thinking about lately. I'm going to have to put some thought into that. Things have been. I've spent all of COVID. Now we talked about corvids, and now we're talking. Oh, can I say that on YouTube?
Yes.
Okay. Because I know for a while you couldn't.
Yeah,
things
we're
have
good.
just been so busy. I'm actually going to take a bit of a break during October because everybody puts out a ton of content in October. So that's actually a good time to take a break. And then I can enjoy Halloween for myself. And I'm going to have to, decide what direction to go in. I feel pretty stagnant at the moment. Like I say, just being busy, it's like, okay, get this week's videos out and then you'll have a chance to breathe. And it just hasn't seemed to work out that way. So yeah, I like to look into different phenomena and such things. And I used to be a ghost hunter, all of that sort of thing. And I need to find probably something to spice things up on the channel, but I'm not quite sure how I need to do that. If anybody has any suggestions, that would be great. So yeah, I need to think about that. I feel like I'm at a crossroads, but where it's going to go, I don't know.
Well, we look forward to seeing where you go. Speaking of the paranormal, have you ever had an experience?
Oh, yes. I grew up in a haunted house. So I have lots of experiences. It's weird because when you grow up with it, it's just normal for you. There wasn't anything malicious in the house I grew up in. In fact, they were probably relatives, to be honest. But I mean, every night there'd be steps coming up the stairs, and you just, oh, is it somebody? Oh, it's not somebody, and then you just go back to sleep. I'd have friends sleep over, and they'd only sleep over once and would never do it again. I had one wake me up in the middle of the night and it's like, somebody's whispering on the stairs. And I listened and I'm like, shut up, we're trying to sleep. And I'm like, they'll be quiet now, just go back to sleep. And she didn't think that was too cool, but it's just how it is. But I had some really awesome experiences when I was ghost hunting too.
Would you like to share any of those?
Sure. I'm giving a speech lecture, whatever, at a Para X conference, October 9th, and so you're getting all my material here. You guys are a practice run. How does that sound?
Oh, that's fine.
That is
That's
perfectly
great.
fine.
Yeah, I had some marvelous experience. The very first one I went on was at an old theater. And we went through and they told us, okay, this is seen here and this is heard here and everything. And none of that stuff happened. But when we were in the basement down by the boiler in this broken up old basement, we heard a girl's voice and it sounded a bit far away, but she would answer our questions. And we checked that nobody was above us. And it was late at night. There was nobody out in the alley. It was well below zero outside. So there was no little girl, but she, kept answering our questions, and that really got me hooked. And so I went and I talked to the guy that was running it, and I told him that I'd be interested in doing this, and I kind of got into his group that way. We had some amazing times. We went regularly to this old stock exchange building. Now, the stock wasn't like stocks and bonds. It was stock, like cattle stock. And they'd bring in the cattle in the fall and auction them off and all that. And it was a great old building. I can't remember what it was built of, but it had like lamb's heads and cows head, not real ones, but carved in the stone over the building and everything. And it was really nice. It was used as the county mental health place for a bit. It was used as a morgue for a bit. And there was a triple murder in the 1920s there. Some farmer didn't feel he got a fair deal and went in and shot the president and his 2 secretaries.
Oh, wow.
I know. There was at least
quite a
3
bit of
suicides.
Oh, wow.
There was at least 3 suicides in the building. One hanging, one guy jumped into the lobby from the 2nd floor, and one lady jumped through the window and just cut herself to ribbons and bled out on the lawn. Yeah, and at least one natural death. So it was a great place to investigate. There was a little girl. I say little girl in quotations because little girls shouldn't be able to mimic male baritone guys, but she would mimic the other investigators when they weren't there, so you'd hear their voice. And
I'm out.
Yeah, and I wish I still had the recordings, but I mean, I was there with a friend of her listening, and she's like, "That sounds like Kevin," and I'm like, "Yeah, but Kevin, they took off to go to the gas station." And I said, "Rebecca, is that you?" And I get, "Ha ha ha, yeah." And and there was just 2 of us in the building at the time, and one of the guys ran into the cowboy in the basement. He's about 7 foot tall with the big bushy beard and the long duster and the hat and everything. And I mean, he was like 6 inches from him. And I was there and I didn't see the apparition, but I did see him, this 6'3" guy, almost wet himself, which was great. I had a ping pong ball thrown at me from about waist height that was on the floor out of the morgue, and that was like the highlight. That was just awesome.
Wow.
And I know it was such a great building, and I think they've torn it down now to build a strip mall or something, unfortunately, but yeah, it was a great place. I loved that place.
I'm surprised
I still
it
want to
didn't
know
make
what
it onto the National Register. for
Well,
historic buildings?
Exactly.
there is, you can look it up. It's look up Ogden Exchange EVP. And this was another group, it wasn't our group, that they'd left their equipment running and they'd gone out for a break. And they got this EVP that's about a minute long with this splashing and a little boy saying, "I can't breathe." And then a deep voice saying he drowned. And you can find it. It was on Coast to Coast. And there was no water in the building. And, they couldn't figure out, there's no water in the building. Where would that? Well, it turns out there's a culvert that goes pretty close to under the building. And in the 50s, a little boy got swept under and drowned. And that came to light after they got the EVP. So that was a great building. And it was so creepy because the lady that owned it, she had turned it into a haunted attraction. So, there's this room that's full of, stuffed ravens, and there's a room with a coffin and one with, creepy baby dolls and everything. So you're sitting in there, with these decorations, trying to do an investigation, and it added to the creep factor, but it was great.
So sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. It was, another interesting thing that happened was we'd schedule it for a weekend. And I came in a Saturday night and I brought my little brother who is special needs. He has Williams syndrome, but he grew up in the same house I do. So he loves haunted things because he grew up in a haunted house too. And I went to get in the car, the parking ride. And I says, "This is my brother, Kurt." And he says, "Kurt." And I says, "Yeah." So we get there and he had a spirit box, which, if you don't know, it's basically a radio that keeps channeling through the stations. And if there is a spirit present, they can use it to communicate and you can hear them. And turns out the night before they did a session and it said, "Kurt's coming." And he didn't know a Kurt. There's no Kurt on the team. He didn't know my brother's name. But yes, I took him the next night. And so the box was right, even though they didn't have a clue what it was talking about, which was also cool.
Hey, that's really, really creepy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah. And I wasn't there the first night, so, I had no idea. So, super weird. I don't know how they knew that, so.
I wonder if the strip mall has any hauntings.
I wonder, is that me? Oh my goodness, I think I might have found that.
Being that even though, it's been torn down in the strip malls there, I still don't think that the hauntings would end.
Yeah, I'm wondering about that.
Yeah, it's not like
I need to go find
away.
out there. Yeah. I was going to say something else and it just slipped my mind, but there was a school that's just over the mountain from me that was, we called it the Indian school. It was for Native American children, the type that they found in Canada. You know what I mean? They weren't always treated well
in
at
Phoenix too.
Uh-huh.
They were taken away from their homes, taught, because they weren't getting the quote unquote proper education. So we rip them from their families, keep them in these clinical situations.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. So there was one of those across the mountain from me. And after it was closed, it was also a hospital during World War II, but after it was closed, it had a very strong reputation for being haunted. And after they've torn it down and now they're building businesses there, yeah, those businesses are haunted. There is a furniture store that closes at dark whenever that is because nobody wants to stay after dark in the building because, I'm sure there is some massively bad energy there. So, yeah. Why was a ping pong ball in the morgue? They were running tests to see if it would move. And it moved a lot more than they thought it would.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Somehow it was on the floor, but somehow it got thrown at me from about waist height. So, not hard, and it just kind of bounced, but just enough to let me know it was there. The interesting thing about that, though, was one of our guys had worked up this device to put kind of energy in the air. I'm not exactly sure how, but it sure smelled strong like ozone. So, something like that was, trying to give them the energy to do something, and it did. There was nobody in that room in the morgue, and it threw it right out at me from waist height. So that was so awesome. That was the greatest thing.
Wow.
I've heard of pebbles and small rocks being thrown during investigations too.
Yes.
I think I'd rather have a ping pong ball thrown at me than a rock.
Definitely. I'd actually gone down the hall because I'd heard some rustling at the end of it. And I was trying to find out what that is when that happened, and it came out of the room. So, yeah, it was great. It was fabulous.
That would have been awesome, though,
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a good time. It was a good time. Then we all got too busy and it just kind of died, but yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Now I know that I'm not too far away from you, just literally a state below you.
Right.
I would love to go on a ghost hunt
trip.
with you.
That would be
exactly what I was thinking, Cece,
fun.
because Cece is in the same state as I am. She's about 60 miles south of me.
Oh, okay.
So
That would be
we
fun.
could
I'm
do
up
that.
in northern Utah, but we should do that sometime.
That would be so fun.
I don't know how well it would go over, being that I'm an empath, but yes.
Oh, well,
do that.
I am too. Yeah.
But see, that's one of the things is it helps draw them out.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like bait.
Right, just don't attach to me. Thanks.
No, that's why we do precautions.
You do. Yes, definitely. I got slack on that once and had something follow me home. And I don't think my daughter's ever forgiven me for that. But yeah.
we have a new person, someone I've never seen before. Count Julius, the vampire VTuber.
Hi, Count Julius. Good to see you.
Welcome to Grave Matters. Awesome to have you.
Welcome.
Welcome.
So, well, that sounds so fun, doing the ghost hunting. I've always wanted to do that.
It really is. It's a lot of fun. So, and when my parents, when they went on vacation, I actually put up a live stream of a ghost cam in their house, but I didn't catch anything too definite. My brother, he went through it and he's like, I caught this and I caught this, and I'm like, okay.
Oh.
Yeah, go ahead. Go on your vacation, Mom and Dad. No, I'm not up to
I'll
anything.
watch the house.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put the house on the internet the whole time you're gone.
Nope, not at all. Didn't do anything. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So okay, you mentioned that you had a daughter. So I'm now know that you have children.
Yes.
I'm not sure if it's
Yeah.
plural or not, but do they do the ghost? Are they into the macabre, spooky stuff too?
No. My oldest daughter was, but more like the fun of Halloween. Halloween's her big thing, but not the real stuff and not the horror stories anymore. She doesn't like that anymore. My son, he's high functioning autistic, and that's just not within his interests. So if it's not within his interests, it's really not within his interests.
Right.
And my youngest kind of is. She's more into the Wicca stuff and of interest in that direction. She's the one that saw the ghost I brought home once. She wasn't too happy about it. But yeah, he was a stinker. It was from an old train station, and he stays in the basement of it, and he's known to be such an ornery old guy. Well, when he followed me home for like a month, every time he showered, there'd be like 3 knocks on the door, on the bathroom door, and there's nobody there. And it would happen when I was alone in the house, which was really, really kind of like, okay, is there somebody in here? But she woke up one night with him nose to nose with her. And
heavens.
he really didn't like that. And I'm like, okay, that's it. You have got to leave now.
Yeah, you're done.
Yep, exactly. She was about 7 or 8 at the time. So yeah, that was a bit much for her. Yeah, so always make sure you tell them they cannot follow you home.
You are not welcome.
Yeah.
You either go to the light or you keep your ass here.
Right.
Can't cross the threshold.
That's right. Go back to your train station.
Wait for the next train. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah. It was so funny because they asked me to go around with a couple of friends of the security guard there that wanted to go through. And he's like, well, just, take him through and show him everything and tell him what goes on and everything. So I did that. And we got to the basement where this ornery guy is. And we had a ovulus with us. And they were both heavy. The gentleman, the husband, he was probably close to 400 pounds. He was a heavy guy. Very nice. Both very nice. We get down there, and the word elephant keeps coming up. And I'm like, oh, this guy is being a real jerk. And I'm like, maybe there was a circus that came through. Yeah, that's it. And he laughs and says, no, he's talking about me. And he thought it was awesome. So I was like, whew, okay, we're good. That's kind of awkward. Put me in a bad situation there, but yeah.
It's a good thing that guy had such a great sense of humor.
I know, right? It was.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We'll just call the train dude Walter.
That would fit him.
Well, that's cool.
Oh, God, no.
So, yeah, the third time the word elephant came up, I'm like, oh, man, stop saying it. So, but yeah, it was a super fun hobby. So, but, everybody got busy and just things kind of just petered out on that, so.
Bummer.
Yeah, that's okay. Then I took up YouTube, so that was fun. Yeah, so, anywho.
Well, that's cool. Oh, we're supposed to be asking you questions. I got into the storytelling and forgot what we were doing.
So I have a question for you.
Sure.
Go ahead. I don't have one.
What would you say is your strongest and weakest aspects when it comes to narrating?
My weakest, that's the easier part, is probably my cadence and speed. It kind of betrays that I am older than most narrators out there, I guess. I don't speak as fast. I've gotten that a lot, that I speak too slow, especially when it's not a narration, but more scripted, where I'm talking like this. Strengths, that's harder. I don't know, maybe. Boy, strengths, that's a hard one. I don't know.
You enunciate very well.
Do I?
You do. Your words are very clear.
Very clear.
Oh,
People know what you're saying. You don't slur your words. You're very concise and very clear. We know exactly what word you're trying to say. There are a few narrators out there that it's hard to know what they're saying because they don't speak properly.
yeah.
They are very lazy in their speech, and you are not.
Definitely not.
So I think that's one of your strengths.
Thank you. I think I take that from older horror interests, like the good old campy Vincent Price movies, and Christopher Lee, and I probably get it from my interest in that.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, they both spoke very well.
Yes,
when they were doing their monologues and stuff. Oh, I miss him. He was such a great. Yeah. We could go on for hours about
very handsome.
Even as a young child, and God, this sounds so weird. As a young child, I had such a crush on him, and he was old.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I had a crush on him.
Yeah. Me too. It's the charm, Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Even there was his Dr. Fibes movies, where he was just weird as hell.
Yeah.
But he was so dedicated to his wife, And so I don't know. I just.
Well, and it's he really chewed the scenery, but you couldn't hate him for it because there was always that kind of wink in his demeanor that you knew what he was doing, and it was so fun,
Yeah.
Even at his, like you say, his darkest in Theater of Blood and Dr. Fibes and so forth.
Yeah.
I think we have a question from Patience.
Oh,
okay.
In chat.
Okay, let me get back over there. Do you have to go to routine when you start? Okay, I know what she's asking. Do you have a specific routine that you go through when you're narrating and recording? Do you have, I have to have my coffee. I have to have my tea, my pen.
I like the throat coat tea, the licorice kind. and that's nice and warm and warms everything up. I do try to, sing a little bit before something. I sing terribly, but if I can sing, it'll warm things up. So, I tend to do that. Not every time though. It depends. So yeah. I should do it more, but it's like, okay, I've got time to record. The house is quiet. I can do it now, sort of thing. But yeah. So when you're, I really should do more warm-ups than I do. So it depends. It depends. But those are good ways. I try to do like a verse or two of modern major general, because that kind of gets you your enunciation. Loose. Yeah, mouth loose, and you can get around the words and that sort of thing, and just so you're not when you start. Yeah, I have a tendency to get kind of froggy. I sound kind of froggy at the moment. So, if I can get rid of that, that's good. So,
anyway, I have to remember that. Our apologies to Derringer. Evidently, we missed his question.
Yes. Her question, yes.
Her question, excuse me.
Derringer asks, you were invited to a barbecue and you're asked to bring one side dish. What do you bring to the barbecue?
What do I bring to the barbecue? Well, usually I bring either a lemon chiffon pudding that my mother used to make. I guess it was popular in Denmark for when she was growing up. It was called citron fromage, which was actually French, even though she's Danish. So that became popular. So I make that, or what else? A pasta salad. Do I have anything else that I kind of make special? There's a whipped cream rice pudding. Oh. But that's generally more for Christmas and stuff. That's really good.
I must have this recipe.
Yeah. My mother's Danish, so she made all of these wonderful things. And now I'm like, okay, I know how to make some of them, but I need to get the rest of them while she's still around. But yeah, usually I make that. I make the lemon chiffon with whipped cream on top.
Yum.
Oh, cool.
Give me about 3 days to be to your house. Just kidding.
I found that it tastes kind of like Mountain Dew with real sugar, is what I've come to the conclusion, but in pudding form.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
It's quite good. So.
Okay, now there's a debate going on. I thought Derringer was a girl. As the Raven Dreams is telling me it's a boy. And Derringer says I'm the prettiest of girls, and now I don't know. I'm confused.
Okay. Derringer, you gotta come clean.
And now someone's going to say, well, why don't you listen to Derringer? Because I don't remember if I've ever listened to Derringer before.
This is the moment.
I have a deeper voice for a girl. It doesn't help. I have a deep voice. I'm a guy. Okay. Okay. Derringer is a guy.
That's what I thought.
Okay, on your name, I'd say
I apologize.
he was a dot.
I have for months been correcting people that Derringer was a girl. I apologize. And Derringer never corrected me, so it's kind of his fault too.
This is the awkward moment when Homer Simpson backs up into a bush.
Right? I'm going to do the Zoidberg sideways scuttle.
So, madam, is there any good advice that you would give a new and upcoming narrator to help them on their journey?
You know, when I started, I watched other narrators and tried to do what they did. I kind of put myself on a schedule and tried to keep to it. So I'd put out, 3 videos a week. And I don't know why I would give anybody advice because I really haven't grown that much. I've got 4,000 subscribers in 5 years, so they probably want to ask somebody more successful.
Well, that's 3,600 more than I've got.
I don't know.
Well,
I would say dive in and have fun. And
but
you know
were
what?
one of the first girl. You were one of the first girl narrators.
Was I?
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah. There wasn't too many around at the time. So it makes me good to see so many more and to see them become successful. So, and of course now we can add Slumber to our ranks, and so she's probably the most successful of us all. But
Right. But
yeah,
now she's facing some hardships that the rest of us haven't had to deal with.
That's true. That's very true. That's very true. I think she's
So-
handling them with grace and with humor. So,
She is. She
yeah.
is.
Really
So-
is.
Okay. Speaking of hers, she's, girls. I'm kidding. Derringer also asks, you are given the opportunity to do any one thing and everything is paid for. What would be that one thing you chose to do?
Oh, yeah, you could go big with this.
Yeah, you could.
I would say I would want a tour of Europe. I would love to go back to Europe and see it very much. And if I could get away with more, a tour of the world. I would love to travel.
I would too. There's so many places I want to go.
Yeah. And okay, now I'm going to go off on a tangent, but
Oh, go ahead.
traveling and seeing more just really opens up people's eyes. And, we realize that wherever you go, what you find is people. And some things may be different, but the heart of people seem to be the same. And I think so much in this world would be better if we understood that. And to a point, with the internet, I think that's really happened because, we talk to people from Russia, from South America, from all over Europe, from Asia, everywhere, and we become friends. And then it's harder for the powers that be to dehumanize them for us, to make them an enemy that we would be willing to harm, because we see their humanity and we know one-on-one that they are just people and have, the same trials and wishes and feelings that we do. So I totally forgot where this all started. Oh yes, Derringer's question. Yeah, I would love to travel.
Oh, love it.
Okay.
Anyway,
I've got an interesting question for you. If
okay.
you were writing your biography, what chapter would you use to highlight the book?
Oh, good question. Probably when my kids were very young, because my oldest was a preemie. She was born at 29 weeks. It was 2 pounds, 2 ounces. And this was a long time ago when medical wasn't so good, and
Yeah.
they wouldn't even tell me, is she going to make it?
Oh.
And then with my son's autism and just, the trials that I helped them through, that seems to be the most important part of my life. Now they're older and I've started this and I've got my own little, hobbies and so forth. It's fun, but it's not as important as that,
So you definitely had an inner strength that you drew on.
Yeah. Definitely. My way of handling problems is dive into it and find out everything I can about it and go from there. So, with preemies, I was able to get some books. The internet was not as prevalent back then. With autism, it was a little easier to find stuff. I have fibromyalgia, and so jumping in and trying to find out about that was really frustrating because there's so many theories and questions and answers, and they all contradict each other, and so that one's kind of frustrating. But
they haven't figured much out yet.
Yeah. You just kind of had to find your own way, and that's not my style. I gotta, study it, but yeah. So, anyway, yeah.
Well, I can remember when Guillain's Barre, they thought didn't exist. Like fibromyalgia, it was just, it's in your head, until they discovered it's like from a virus.
Right.
So, hello, there's still hope for us to figure out what this is and what's causing it. Because they found out what was causing that when they told, thousands of women, it's in your head. No, it's not. Yeah. It's in my body.
That's exactly tends to be the go-to when a woman has a complaint. Yeah.
Right. It's all in your head. It's, you're hysterical. Or it's because you're on your period.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But yet when men get sick, they're the biggest babies ever. And they're like, you got to pay attention to me 24/7, but it's in our heads. But
right. The man flu. Yeah.
Well, and when they are having bad periods, like the women that have endometriosis really bad and stuff. Oh no, you can possibly be having cramps that bad.
See, I went through that. I didn't have endometriosis, but I can't remember what it's called. But it's like PMS, only it's extreme. And, I'd spend, of course, I had polycystic ovarian syndrome too, so I'd only have it every 2 months or 3 months. But yeah, when I had it would put me in bed for a day with my period, actually. I mean, it was just horrid. But, they don't believe you.
Yeah. Remind me after the... Oh, sorry. Go ahead, madam.
I was just going to say, too bad they can't come up with some more quote-unquote cures like they had in the late 19th century for hysteria.
Right.
Right?
You know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
I do. I know why the women left the doctor's office in a much better mood.
Remind me after the show to tell you what PMS stands for.
Okay.
It's an actual t-shirt that my aunt had. She goes, I suffer from PMS. I'll tell you the rest after the show.
Oh, I think I might be able to figure that one out.
Derringer, why are you crying?
He let painted cats go in Patience and Raven's kitchen for some reason. I've been following the chat.
So you've been a narrator for 5 years. You've collabed with several people. Is there one person that you haven't collabed with that you've always wanted to collab with?
Oh, goodness. Yeah, there's probably a few. Swamp Dweller and Unit 522 would be fun. Lighthouse Horror. I've been on Spike's channel on Mr. Creepypastas, and I've been on Doc's and he's been on mine, so that's wonderful. But yeah, there's some I'd like. I intend to ask Slumber to work with me if I can get the right story together. So we'll see. We'll see.
Hey, Swamp Dweller, if you're listening.
Right? Anybody that's got a direct line to Swamp Dweller or Slumber Reads,
Yep.
Madam Raven would like to collab with them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, currently, in fact, let me ask you something after the show, madam.
Okay. So all of the questions Cece wants to ask you have nothing to do with the show. It's all after.
CCG, you sound just like my cousin.
Why?
Your voice sounds like my cousin's voice. It's like when I talk to her on the phone. It's awesome.
Oh, cool. Awesome. So what's the craziest thing you've ever, food-wise or whatever, snuck into a movie theater?
Would be, see, I know this right off the bat. It would be a Burger King Whopper. And I don't know how we got away with that because they smell so strongly. But we did.
Oh, that's funny.
Mine was cold chicken strips.
That's great.
Mine was a whole pizza.
Oh, wow. That's something. Oh, wow. Yeah, that would be hard to sneak in.
So,
that's funny. I haven't thought about that in a long time.
We know you're like super horror fan, and we know that you do ghost excuse me, ghost hunts and stuff. What is your actual favorite genre of horror, either to read or to watch movies or even to narrate, like ghosts or slasher, suspense?
Ghosts have always been an interest to me, obviously. Okay, this is kind of convoluted, but I found a theory on the missing 411 that's the Fae theory. So fairies, but of course they're not actually what we think of fairies, but interdimensional creatures that come to this realm for whatever purpose they have. And that's kind of been an interest of mine the last couple of years. I've done a lot of fairy horror, if you will, which can be quite frightening, I mean, and so that's a really weird category, I guess. I do like the psychological.
Yeah.
The psychological or the supernatural. I'm not much into gore. It just kind of grosses me out. Body horror can really get to me, the thought of, that. So, yeah, I guess, supernatural, but thriller also. So, yeah.
Okay. Can you explain what the missing 411 theory is?
Yeah, I guess that would be a good idea, huh? There's a retired police officer by the name of Dave Pilates, if I can pronounce that right. And his thing was he was investigating Bigfoot, and that was his big thing with the Can-Am program. And he had a park ranger that came up to him and says, what happens in these national parks? All these people are going missing. They don't advertise it a lot. There's no reason for it. And the circumstances are extremely strange. So he started to investigate that. And he would find, for example, kids that would go missing and would be found 50 miles away without shoes and socks. No way they could have gotten there. People that disappear from places where there's no place for them to go. That they just kind of disappear into thin air. People that their socks and shoes are removed. People that show up on a trail that has been searched over 100 times. All these strange things around it. And he sent
these people that are missing their shoes and socks. They don't have cut up feet or anything.
Right.
Okay.
And so he sends in to get information on these missing cases. And they're like, oh, we don't keep that. We don't have any records of this sort of thing. And he's like, well, can't you get them for me? And they keep blowing him off. And despite the laws that say they have to release the information, they won't. And he actually raised over $1 million to try and get the information, and then they changed how much it was going to be, and all of these things that they're kind of hiding. And it's really interesting because a lot of these places where it happens, like Yosemite, for example, the natives who lived there before called it the land of the cannibals. And there were things there that ate people and took people. And so he's written a number of books about it. And he's found other phenomenon. For example, there's a place in England where these young men keep drowning in the canals, like an inordinate number, and they're all young college-age men. And yeah, I mean that goes back to the sirens and Peg Powler and Jenny Greenteeth and the creatures, the myths around that. So it's very interesting. Dave Pilates, he doesn't put out what he thinks it is. He just puts out the facts of the case. And so, there's theories, Bigfoot, aliens, whatever. And it's very interesting.
Wow.
I think there was a story that I watched on Swamp Dwellers, and this family had gone camping, and I believe the boy was 5 years old, and I forget how long it was later that they found him, but where they found him was very peculiar, whatever that word is, strange.
Peculiar. I can't say it now. Peculiar.
Thank you. Because he was found up halfway up the side of a mountain, again with no shoes, no socks, and without the proper climbing equipment. There's no way that a 5-year-old child is going to get on a ledge halfway up a mountain, so they're like, how did he get here?
Right, exactly.
Of course he was deceased, but
yeah. And some kids that have been found alive, they'll say, oh, well, the bear man took care of me. He fed me berries. Or the other grandma that looked like you but talked funny or something like that. And there's,
Mhm.
and you're like, well, this is a kid saying, but obviously they saw something happened. So
Right. Exactly.
anyway,
Does he, or have you heard of him talking about the stairs in the forests?
the stairs is a no sleep story.
Okay, so those aren't real?
Unfortunately, because it is,
Okay.
yeah. Unfortunately, because that is so fascinating, and wouldn't that be wonderful if that was real?
Right?
Some people have claimed to actually see the stairs out there. But the lady that wrote it, she's like, yeah, it's fiction, but maybe it's like Slender Man. It'll take on a life of its own.
Right?
I
Well,
don't know.
obviously it has.
Right.
The first time I heard about him was on, I forget the name of the video, but was on Corpse Husband's channel.
Right, that's where I first heard about him too.
I'm like, okay, I'm hooked.
Yeah,
Right.
those were so fascinating. I love those. I love
Definitely.
those. Yeah. But yeah,
Wow,
unfortunately they're not true.
Bummer.
So this guy sounds really interesting. Does he do any videos or is it all books?
He's done a lot of interviews. He does have a YouTube channel.
We
He's
need to look that
done
up.
2 or 3 documentaries. 411 Missing and 411 Missing the Hunted, which the second one is much better. The first one's about a little boy in Idaho, and I really think the parents had something to do with it in that case. But the Hunted one is, a lot of it's about hunters and things that happen to them. And there was one lady that was in a deer stand, and she saw in the movie Predator, when he had the camouflage on and it was kind of morphed, but you could see through him. That's what she saw out there. And she tried to take pictures of it, and the pictures kind of went weird, but it wasn't a way that it should have. The picture shouldn't have existed she took, even though it didn't show it. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I dare you, Derringer, to go out into the woods and build a staircase, a nice one. But yeah, there's some really interesting things that happen there. So yeah, I highly recommend the second one, the Missing 411.
Just put a link to it.
Oh, wonderful.
Just put a link to it.
There you go. Yeah, but he's done an inordinate amount of research looking for these cases. And it seems to be worldwide. It's something that's just kind of been under our noses, but we've never really seen. You see, so-and-so got lost in this national forest. Okay, well, that happens. But you don't, the sheer amount over time and in different places. So, and that's just the thing, is that there are stories of people and children that get kidnapped everywhere, from Japan, South America. They have El Duende. In Japan, it's what is it? Kami Kakushi, I think, which literally means kidnapped by God. And the El Duende that was in South America, they are little gnome-like creatures that protect the jungle, and they kidnap children. There's stories from all the different nations of Native Americans and First Nations in Canada. Anywhere you go in the world, you'll have myths and legends about creatures that steal people. And to me, I just find that interesting, and I think there has to be a connection. But whatever they actually are compared to what our ancestors saw them as, the Fae, it's interesting. It's really interesting. So, There's
Oh.
the list thing that's going on YouTube. I mean, people used to have lists of, don't walk near apple trees in the dark because, the apple tree man will get you, or, don't follow the lights. That's because you'll be pixie led, that sort of thing.
Right.
So,
The will o' the
we
wisp
had those
and
lists.
stuff like that.
Yeah, the lists are a thing. They've always been a thing. So, yeah, I think that's why they fascinate us so much, and they've been such a go around this last year of the lists on YouTube. So, anyway.
Wow.
I've
You're
always
just
been
so full of
fascinated by the unknown.
interesting stuff. Love talking with you.
Oh, thank you. This is a lot of fun.
We're all just sitting here engrossed, listening, just not a word coming out of our mouths, just like, oh, tell us more.
Oh, hello, Possessed Radio.
Hi,
Hi.
Possessed Radio.
And how did you know I was a nerd?
We're all nerds.
That's true, I suppose.
Yeah, because this is like what nerds do.
Yeah. I
So,
suppose
what's a true crazy fact about yourself?
so. Crazy fact about myself. Let's see. I once flew in the private Lego company jet when I was a baby.
Oh, wow.
Really?
I guess that's interesting. My mother had missed a flight from, I can't remember what, I think it was within Denmark, from like Copenhagen to Aalborg or something. And whoever was riding in it that was with Lego gave us a ride. So that was a ride on their private jet.
Wow.
So I don't remember it. There's that. I was run over by a Pioneer hand cart. Yeah. I don't know. There's not that much interesting.
No, those are interesting. Unique, anyway.
So, madam, you've been a bad girl, and you're on death row now. What would your last meal be?
My last meal. Oh boy.
Citron
it
fromage.
changes. Yeah, right. I would probably have steak Oscar, which is, steak with shrimp and crab and avocado and cheese topped with béarnaise sauce. And rice pilaf. And death by chocolate afterwards.
Wow.
Absolutely death by chocolate.
Anybody else hungry now?
I know,
Starving. I have steaks for tomorrow. I don't have the other stuff to put on it.
Oh. You have to remember steak Oscar. Yes.
Right? I
Do
don't
we
even
have
know
any
where
other?
we would get that.
I know, right? Do we
Okay.
have any other questions in the audience? In the audience? What the hell?
I guess not.
Everyone is per my decision making. Okay. I don't know what Steven's going on about. I got into random words and built staircases to nowhere. Oh, I go out into random woods. Never mind where to discuss that. Okay. I may have asked you this last time, but I can't remember. So you're having a dinner party and you have 5 seats. So you're going to invite horror characters, be they writers, directors, actors or YouTubers or just anybody involved in horror in any way, shape, or form? Who do you invite?
Okay, we've got to go. Poe, Lovecraft, and Vincent Price.
Okay.
Definitely.
3 big boys.
Yeah. You know what? Christopher Lee is going to have to be in there too. I mean, I don't know anybody who's lived a more interesting life.
Right. Okay.
That leaves one. I'm gonna have to say Dr. Creepin. I think he'd have some interesting.
Oh yes,
stories.
definitely.
Yeah, that would be okay. Yes, that would be awesome. And you know what? He would love your choices too.
He would.
I think he may have actually said 1 or 2 of those when we asked him.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I think he did say
That
1
would-
or 2.
That would be a good dinner party.
Yeah, it would.
Yes, it would.
Awesome. Okay. Let's see. Who would you like to read your eulogy? I mean, obviously, we don't want you to die, but
Right.
you did die, and anybody in the world,
Tom Hiddleston.
Oh, dressed as Loki.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, that would be better. Right.
Who and what?
Tom Hiddleston,
Oh.
the guy that plays Loki in the
Marvel.
in
movies.
Marvel's. He plays Loki to Chris Hemsworth's Thor.
Okay.
Mm.
Pretend that I know what you guys are talking about.
He did a marvelous Henry V too in the Hollow Crown.
Oh, I didn't see that.
What is Possessed Radio saying?
Let me get back over there. I missed the opening, so if it hasn't been asked, what's a story you've always wanted to cover? And since you said it, what is your favorite Vincent Price movie? And why is it The Mask of the Red Death?
Okay, the first one would be Neil Gaiman's A Study in Emerald. I don't have permission to cover it, but I would love to cover that. It is a take on the first Sherlock Holmes, which is A Study in Scarlet, but it is a twist of a world that is under the rule of the eldritch creatures of H.P. Lovecraft. So it's a rule that's died, and since he is a descendant of these eldritch abominations, his blood is green, so it's a study in emerald. And I love that story so much.
Okay, that sounds really cool.
Yes, go read it if you haven't. And yes, The Mask of the Red Death is my favorite Vincent Price movie. That is his most absolute evil is in that movie. I mean, literally a devil worshiper, and just the scope they cover. They have the story of Hop Frog in there as well, and it's just so marvelously done and so technicolor, which the story should be because of the different rooms and so forth. So yes, good question, Possessed Radio.
Definitely. Hi, Tim. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Tim, and hi, Gamma.
Hi, Gamma.
Oh, hi, Gamma. How are you? And Tim, good to see you both.
You amazingly talented people right there. I'll learn how to talk sooner or later.
Damn, I'm good, but he may be more evil in Witchfinder General as a crooked inquisitor.
He might, yeah. But I don't know. Just the glamour of the Red Death is pretty awesome. Yeah.
Cool.
Is it gonna kick me if I put a link in the chat?
Put it in our chat in Discord, and we
Okay.
can pop it in there for you.
Okay. Because I found a...
If you put it up in Grave Matters chat.
Okay. Let's see. Great matters. There we are. It's for the PDF of the Neil Gaiman story I talked about.
Okay.
So yeah, it's there now. So yeah, it's really a good story. It's one of my favorites. He does one about a black cat too that protects the family, and I can't remember that one. That's also fabulous.
Mhm.
So thank you, Raven. There's the Neil Gaiman one.
Oh, and there's Alternative Night. Okay, whose live show just stopped? You guys get the feeling that someone's live show just stopped?
One of many who are alive right now, probably.
Right? Okay.
Hi, Alternative Night. Thanks for coming. He's an amazingly talented narrator.
I don't remember how this question got in here, but if you had a choice between having a tail or losing a leg, which would you choose?
Oh, having a tail. That could be cool, depending on what it looks like.
Okay, so I guess you're choosing a tail instead of losing a leg?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely. Yeah, give me a tail. I don't think I'm in the mood to lose a leg.
Right? I mean, if it was like prehensile, like a monkey's tail,
That could be useful.
that could be very useful. But if it was like big, like an alligator's tail, no, it's going to make my ass look fat. Right?
I like big.
It could make your butt look smaller by comparison. You never know.
Pardon me, but does this tutu make my butt look big? Sorry.
But like, what if it was like a duck's tail or something with like feathers or something, or an ostrich tail?
I don't want anything pokey.
Peacock.
That would be pokey.
Yeah.
A peacock, yes, but anything that I can sit on that's pokey, no.
Something that would be nice and fluffy and padded, that would be nice. I don't think this is where that question was meant to go, but you know. I don't know whose question it was or how it got on.
Depending on if it was like a wolf's tail or something, you might have some very interested furries. I don't know.
Oh, like a little fox tail or something.
A foxtail.
Oh,
9
that
foxtails would be a
sauce.
kitsune.
Oh
So,
yeah. Okay, but then you'd have to be given the little pointy ears.
that would be okay.
As long as you could
It's
get the
getting
muscles
weird.
to twitch them. Yeah, it is
Yeah,
pretty weird.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. If you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
My knee-jerk reaction is pizza.
Mm.
I mean, you can have all sorts of pizza, right? Anything you put on a flatbread could be considered pizza. That might work. Or salad, because you could put just about anything on a salad, too.
Yeah, and there's many other things like chicken salad and tuna salad and ham salad,
Right.
seafood
and you can go
salad.
broad definition, have pasta salad.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
So on the
We
face
can
of it,
split hairs.
sounds like
Yeah,
like a boring choice, but really, it doesn't have to be.
right. Depends on how many
Fine with
hairs you
being
split on that.
You're right.
Fruit salad.
So, madam,
There you go.
you're being casted into a horror movie, and you have permission to bring 5 narrators with you. Who would you want to star with you in that horror movie? Who would be the villain? Who would survive?
Okay. 5, did you say?
Survive.
5. I would probably bring Baron along, Baron von Pasta. He's a riot. I'd bring Musi along. She would be very entertaining as well. Musi's Modern Dreadfuls. I
love her.
Yeah. I think I'd bring Slumber. She would be fun. She'd probably get killed fairly early, but she would make it very entertaining. Who would I have? What do we got? 3? Jar 19.
Oh, yes. I love Jar 19. He's a hoot.
He is. And oh my goodness, who else? I gotta come up with a villain, don't I? Deadly Cure
Oh,
would
yes.
be a terrifying villain. Yeah, he's got a great voice.
Sounds
I'd have
great.
him be the villain.
I'd watch.
I would too. Great choices.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh. Maybe 20 years ago, I was in this Lord of the Rings community on the IMDb boards, and we once had this thing where we cast each other as if we were in a movie who would play us. And that was really fun. And I'd like to kind of get that going on Twitter, where you kind of vote for who would play different people. But I don't know how to get that started quite. I probably don't have the clout to get it going. But, that would be fun. That would be fun.
Well, let's do it.
Okay.
Well, all the big name people would get chosen for everything. I can tell you that right now.
For what?
Oh, I said,
Well,
oh God, my cat just walked across my foot. Scared me.
so like, if you got, I don't know who. Anyway, never mind. Just what actor would play which narrators, that would be interesting. But anyway, dibs on the bad guy. No, what would be good is if we were all the villains and we're all trying to kill each other and not get caught. Kind of like Clue. That would be more fitting.
Did it in the library with the candlestick.
Right.
Okay, we're running down on time, guys.
So, if
no,
you
it's
want
been
to
so
go ahead and
fun.
start.
Well, I was
And
just going to ask
Raven,
Madam
thank you.
if she had any questions for us.
Yes.
Not that I can think of. It's like my brain is fried this week. I can't think of anything.
Okay,
So
that works.
yeah, I think you guys are absolutely awesome for doing these. They are so fun to listen to and to be a part of. I just want to thank you all and thank Raven, because it's just so amazing to be a part of that and to be asked on. I'm just so honored.
Oh,
We're honored to have you here. Thank you. It's been an awesome interview. Great sit down. To everyone in
I
the
love your
chat.
stories.
Oh, I do too. To everyone in the chat, thank you for coming. Thank you for your questions, patience. Thank you for letting us have Raven again this week. We'll have him next week because we will be interviewing him. So until next time, remember the graves do whisper and stay frightened. So send us out.
Okay. Have you ever wondered how we get to do this? Well, the Nevermore Collective is a group of content creators that have come together to create a stage. This platform is for anyone in the community, and it is designed for content that may not fit your normal channel. Currently, we have 2 interview shows, The Traveler's Tavern and Grave Matters. Traveler's Tavern is on Saturdays, and starting on October 7th, Grave Matters will be moving from Sundays to Thursdays. We also have some narrators that game on this channel and a show about cryptids. We can also host videos for you. If you have any questions about joining or hosting a show on the platform, please reach out to any of us as the Raven Dreams, PA Nightmare, 42 Reads, Creepy Clown Girl, or myself, Filia Noctis. And remember, once you join the collective, you can leave nevermore.
Bye, everyone.